Hey friends, are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Andy Flower, one of the few players that Zimbabwe produced who went on to match the big names with his batting. In his 63-match Test career, Andy aggregated 4,794 runs at an average of 51.54 with 12 centuries. After 63 tests, Sachin had scored 4,753 runs, 41 less than Flower. However, Tendulkar had played 16 innings fewer than the Zimbabwean at end of the 63rd Test match. In the same number of innings, Sachin had 5,673 runs to his name, leading Flower. Yunus Khan ended his career as Pakistan's most prolific run-getter in Test cricket and has 10,099 runs to his names, which he compiled in 118 matches at an average of 52.05. He is the only Pakistan player with over 9,000 Test runs, which wasn't an easy feat for him to achieve. Yunus had his struggles to be in the team throughout his 17-year career, during which he played 118 matches at an average of only 7 tests per year. With 10,099 runs to his name, Yunus leads Sachin's tally after 118 test matches by 504 runs. The Indian batsman, however, had played fewer innings than Yunus after 118 tests. However, comparing both the players after 213 innings, Sachin leads Yunus by a fair margin of 428 runs, as the legendary batsman had 10,527 runs to his name and had scored 1 ton more than the Yunus Khan. Brian Lara made his debut in Test cricket shortly after Sachin Tendulkar, but went ahead of the latter by end of his career. Lara concluded with 11,953 runs in the 131 matches, and that gave him an average of 52.88. Despite playing in the toughest phase of Caribbean cricket, Lara finished his career as the leading run-getter in Test cricket. The record was soon transferred to Tendulkar nearly 2 years after Lara's retirement.
After 131 tests, Lara was leading the Indian grades tally of 10,434 by 1519 runs. The big margin was aided by the fact that Lara had played 23 more innings than Tendulkar. Comparing the stalwarts in terms of innings, Lara is 423 runs ahead of Sachin's 11520 runs. The Indian batsman went past the West Indian legend's Test record in his 247th innings, which is about 15 innings more than the number Lara played in his career. The way Sangakkara batted in the second half of his Test career, everyone gave him a chance to break Tendulkar's records. It looked obvious given his record in the 2 to 3 years preceding his retirement in 2015, when he was probably at the peak of his batting prowess. The Sri Lankan scored 6,908 runs in the last 67 matches, after making 5,492 runs in his first 67 tests. The difference of nearly 1,500 runs was the reason why he improved his batting average from the early 50s to 57.4. Tendulkar's tally of 10,590 runs after 134 tests was 1,810 runs behind Sangakkara's career tally. The prolific Sri Lankan batsman leads Sachin's tally by 858 runs. If we go down into comparing runs scored after 233 innings, the latter had scored 11,532 runs with 38 centuries by then. A lot of players competed with Sachin Tendulkar for the top batting spots, and one among those was compatriot Rahul Dravid, with whom Tendulkar spent a majority of time at the crease. The duo had a great contribution to the Indian team in their big wins in the longer format, which also reflected with a positive competition between them in terms of records. Dravid, who retired suddenly in 2012, aggregated 13,288 runs in his 164-match career. Interestingly, after 164 Test matches, Tendulkar had scored 13,234 runs, which is 54 runs less than those Dravid scored in his career. However, Sachin scored 9 centuries more than India's premier number 3 batsman, despite playing 18 innings fewer till that point. In terms of innings, Tendulkar leads Dravid by 1225 runs as he scored 14,513 test runs after 286 innings.